Hello Cardiff, this is your last maths lesson of this week. So today we are counting in 50s, last of our place value unit today. So let's get cracking then. So first question, how many cards does each person have? So counting up in 50s, how many cards does each person have? Write your answer down for each person. You might want to write their name and then the amount next to it. Remember to pause on each page so you've got some time to work it out if you need it. If you don't need it, amazing, fantastic. But again, pause if you need to. You can always go backwards if you get a bit stuck or if you run out of time. So, thinking back to this question then. So, if Teddy has 8 packs of cards, how many cards does Teddy have? Teddy has how many cards? So think about it. Here we've got lots of different amounts. We've got 2 packs of cards, 3, 4, 7 packs of cards. So he's got 8 packs of cards. How many cards will he have? You might want to draw this one out to help you. You could draw 8 packs of cards and write down the value of each of those cards and then add them up. Whatever way will help you to work that out. Think about the ones you've just done. Could that help you to answer this question? Okay, number 2 then. So complete the number tracks. So we are back to ordering some numbers now. So you might want to write down the list of numbers. So starting at 200 to 250, 300. So what's going to come next? Fill in those next 4 blank spaces up to 550. Then for your next one, starting at 650, again going up. So we're going to, what's the next one between 650 and 750? And then fill up after 800 onwards. Now if we look carefully at the last one here, we've got a number, then we've got 600. So you need to think of something that is bigger than 600 because as we can see, this one is going down. Okay, so the other ones are ascending because the numbers are getting bigger each time. But for this last one, we are descending because they're getting smaller on this one. Okay. Number 3. So Rosie is counting up in 50s from 0 to 1000. She goes 0, 50, 100. Circle all the numbers that Rosie will say. So have a look at those possible options. Which numbers will Rosie say? So have a look at the first 3 that she has said. Can you use this to help you to answer this question? Think about what numbers you can see, what digits you can see. Which ones will she say, which ones won't she say? Number 4. What numbers are the arrows pointing to? Label the arrows. So you might want to draw this number line down on a piece of paper so that you know what each of those increments is worth, and then you'll be able to see which numbers. So if you've drawn your number line, you could circle the numbers which are being pointed to. Or you could just work it out in your head if you can do that. Either way is absolutely fine. Number 5. Is this true or false? These scales will balance. How do you know? So for this one, you've got 250 grams on one side of your scale. You have got this amount on this side. Now, I'm not going to tell you that amount because that will tell you your answer. So count up those 50s. What does it add up to? Will they balance? Now, a scale will balance if the number is the same on both sides. So both of those sides will have to add up to 250 for the scale to balance. So how do you know? So for this one, you'll say that it is either true or false. I know this because, and tell me how you know it. So what have you worked out to find out your answer? Number 6. So Whitney and Dexter are playing darts. Whitney throws 5 darts. So if you can see, you've got either 50 points or 100 points, depending on what colour she lands on. So how many points has Whitney scored? So count up all the 50 points, count up all the 100 points, add them together, and that will give you her answer. So write down how many points she scored. So how did you work it out? Now, for the talk to your partner bit, you could talk to an adult who's around or a sibling who's around if you've got a brother and sister about. Or you could just write a little sentence. So then if you send me your work, I can see how you've worked that out. So for B, so Dexter scores 450 points with his 5 darts. Where could his darts have landed? Draw your answer on the dartboard. So you might just draw a little dartboard on your page. And once you've drawn your dartboard, you'll then need to work out all the different ways that you could do this. So there's lots of answers you could have for this one. So have a think, what could he do? So have a think how you could do this. You might have to do a few different attempts at working this one out. You might have to draw different ones. You might not want to draw the dartboard. You could just want to do a running add up, a running total of adding up those different numbers, what he could have done. Remember, you can only do 5 darts, so only 5 numbers can actually add up for this one. So be careful with that. So for C, this is Dexter, and he's saying, I don't think it's possible to score 450 with 6 darts. So is he correct? And explain how you know. So just like you did in the last one, but this time you've got 6 darts rather than 5. So can you work out a way of making 450 with 6 darts? If you can't do it, then he is correct, because he doesn't think that's possible. So if you don't think you can do it, then you will agree with Dexter and say, yes, he's correct. I know this because, and tell me how you've worked it out. You could show me the working out you've done. If you disagree with Dexter and you think that you can do it, then tell me how you would do it. So what numbers you can get with your 6 darts to work out 450. Okay, number 7 then. So this time we're counting up money, but again, we're still just using 50s because it's just a 50p coin. So remember, if we're writing in money, you'd write your number and make sure that you're either writing pounds or pence, depending on how you're writing it. You could write both answers, and you could just write pounds or just pence. It's up to you, whichever way you record your answer. Right then, so it is time to have a look at our answers. So I hope you've had a good go at all those questions. Not too tricky today, some where you will have to do some working out in your head to do some problem solving, but overall quite a straightforward lesson. So let's have a look at our answers for today. So Philip has 100 cards, Eva has 150 cards, Mo has 200 cards, and Aisha has 350 cards. Teddy has 400. Now for that one, like I said, you could have drawn it to work it out and counted up 8 lots or 50, or you could have realised that Aisha had 7 packs of cards and just added 1 more pack of cards onto her amount to get the answer. For the next one, you can see the missing numbers that have been filled in. So it's the numbers that are slightly bigger here. And these ones, so give those a tick if you've got those correct. For the next one, so number 3, those are your answers. 250, 350, 800, and 950. So you should have circled. We notice with that one that the numbers all end in a 0, and in the tens column it is either a 5 or a 0. That is how we know if we're counting up from 0 in 50s. It will always have either 5 tens or no tens, and there will always be a 0 in the ones column. Okay, number 4, so you can see that your 2 numbers that we were missing were 450 and 600. Number 5, it's false. 3 lots of 50 grams are the same as 150 grams. 250 grams is heavier than 150 grams, so my scale would not balance. The 250 would be heavier, so it would weigh it down that side. So I would have had to have more lots of 50 grams to make that number. Okay, so for question 6, so Whitney has scored 350 points, 4 darts on the 100 points and 1 dart on the 50 points is how you would do it in 5 darts. And Dexter is incorrect. So if you've worked this one out, he could score 450 points if he had 3 darts on the 100 points and 3 darts on the different 50s, because this would be 300 plus 150, which equals 450. So number 7, there is, you can either write it as 550 pence altogether, or you could convert it to pounds and pence, and you'd do £5, because we know that there are 100 pennies in a pound, and 50 pence. So there you go, that's your answers for today's lesson. So thank you for joining in this week. I hope you've enjoyed this, and I hope you've enjoyed doing some slightly more straightforward maths this last couple of weeks. Next week we'll be moving on to doing some addition, some column addition, to practice those skills, because it's really important that we keep that going. We'll also be looking to do some more mastery kind of stuff with that, so that we can really challenge ourselves and push ourselves. Okay, so have a lovely weekend, and I hope to see you back next week for our maths lessons. Again, don't forget, email myself or Miss Lofthouse some pictures of your work, or if you can get a parent to, or someone at home to, tag us in some work on Twitter, and we will have a look through there. See you all later.